Hi friends, today we are going to paint a simple watercolor landscape. So what we are going to paint is in the iPad. This will be the reference. We will not be painting exactly like this, but the main concept we will be taking from here. So we will have a beautiful looking tree with a lot of silhouette kind of branches. It's an old tree and very interesting pattern, and we will have much more than the trunk. There is a very interesting pattern of the shadows on the ground, falling on the ground. So I liked this particular subject very much, so let's try to depict it in a simple watercolor form. So we'll start with a very quick drawing. We will not draw exactly like this. We will not draw the details. We will just indicate roughly or vaguely indicate the branches, and we will then start the painting process. Okay, let's get started. So the main thing is if you look at the kind of the base, the kind of meadow and the muddy land. So we will have a kind of, say, we'll roughly indicate that path. Maybe a little bit of perspective here. Okay, so we'll try to define it while painting, and once this is done, we'll have a little piece of land here, little piece of grassy land, and we will have some trees here. Then maybe, I don't know whether we will keep it here or not. We will add some elements here, so we will add some character or some element here, and the main thing is the branches. So we'll have some branches which will come out here, and some other branches which will probably go somewhere like this. Okay, so maybe we'll extend it somewhere this here, and quite a lot of interesting patterns. We will not exactly draw this, and then we will have a lot of shadows. So only I'm interested in the direction of shadows. So this is the angle in which the shadow comes. So probably this is the angle from which the light falls. So we will have this particular indication. Since we will be drawing our own branches, we will then make our own shadows to match with the branch plus the light source. Right, there are some other details which I haven't drawn. So we will add those elements. When we progress with the painting. We will dynamically decide whether each of these elements should be present, or we should add our own elements, or even if we add an element from the reference, should we place it exactly there, or we could move around to make it a little bit more interesting. So there are a couple of characters already here in the reference, so we will try to, there are already some reference here, so I mean the characters, so probably we'll bring in additional characters in the main area of interest to enhance the interest. Alright, so we'll start. Okay, we'll keep the reference a little away so that you have the area of painting is not cluttered for you. So okay, we'll start with a very quick sky. Our sky is not very complicated, so we will not make a detailed sky. Maybe somewhere I'll just sprinkle some water here and there. Okay, so similarly maybe some little bit of sky color here and there. the sky is not very important here. I don't think the sky is, we need to give a lot of importance to the sky, so we'll just have some sky, that's it. Maybe some edges will smoothen it out a little bit, that's it. The sky is done. Little bit, there is a little bit of warmth in the sky if you look at the reference, so we'll have something like this. Some warmth, that's it. Okay, now I think it makes sense to kind of define the sand, the soil area here. So look. Sorry, the brush was dirty. We cannot have this greeny sand here. So we'll add some darkness when we comes here. So I'm kind of following the light direction in my strokes as well. So that little bit of darkness here to bring the foreground a little closer. Okay, now we have the sky clear, we have the foreground, the space for foreground. Now we'll have the patch for grass and the trees now. Okay, that forms the kind of middle ground, or maybe the background or middle ground, so we'll have those things now. So what I'll be using is, I'll be using a little bit of yellowish green. Maybe I'm using Indian yellow and little bit of maybe olive green and little bit of Indian yellow. I'm making it a little bit dry and okay. deliberately leaving the sparkles. We don't really we're not really worried about those things. Okay, now a little bit of green bushes around this area. I will use the same color, little bit of olive green, and maybe a little bit of darkness added with the burnt sienna. It is not in very much detail, just some kind of bushes. So we are not that's it. The idea is not to get too much buried into those details. We will have another big tree here. If you look at the reference, you have some trees. So on your right hand side you'll have some trees. You'll have some trees. It is not I'm not planning to define it very well. It is just we will now define some branches. Okay. We'll have to define this edge. Little bit of perspective, and that's it. Maybe some bit of darkness here. That's it. Now we have things defined. We will have a big tree here. We'll not define too much for this. We will very roughly define it. If you remember the reference, there are lot of branches in the tree. It's a very old tree. Lot of branches going in all the directions. Our idea is not to depict the exact curves, exact number of branches, etc. Our objective is to have the same kind of interest being generated. So you may have many other ways of doing it. Some areas are going a little bit more darker, so we'll have some smaller branches. We'll draw some smaller branches there and kind of done. Now comes the interesting part. We'll have to define the shadow. So if you look at the shadow, you see that the shadow is very kind of the shadow is little pale, and it is kind of crisp towards the base of the tree, and then as it spreads out it becomes little not so crisp. It is little vague, it is feathered. So we'll try to do that. So we will have to have some kind of a wetness on the road here. So maybe this is not fine. Okay, some kind of wetness is required. Now we will define the shadows. going to define the exact shadows here. It is not humanly possible even if you want to do that. So we'll have to define it, the base of the tree little more closely, because we'll have to there should be some kind of distinction between the base of the tree and the beginning of the shadow. I think the shadow is done. See, we don't need the exact step as in the reference. We need to get that kind of a feel. Right. Now, having done that, we'll have to define some elements in the foreground and maybe some characters. So we'll define some characters now. We will, if you remember, there were some characters here. We need some darker tone. See, here we are not going to make exactly that. It is some two people are coming. That's it. So we don't need a very detailed work when it comes to the characters. Okay. So these two people are maybe going that side. Now we need some people maybe walking from this side. No. Maybe a kid. I don't know. So there are something. We are not making exact figure or something. So what we need is some kind of indication, some people walking around. kind of trying to make some kind of a silhouette of somebody here. Okay, and maybe this guy is facing him. This guy is facing him and talking. Maybe here is some kind of some dog or something. I don't know what is this. Just trying to control where this guy is passing. So that's it. We'll make some kind of, it's already on the shadow, but we have to respect the you know from where the shadow goes. Shadow comes in which direction, so you'll have to have the shadows. If you really want, you can add some additional element or something in the back and in the foreground, but may not be really required. I'm not a fan of doing too many things here. I think this much is enough. Enough is enough. If you are really interested, we can probably create some more branches, but I don't think that is required. It will spoil it. So basically that's it. Now I'll give the signature, whether it is dry. It is not fully dry, but probably then I'll write my name here, which area is dry. If you really need, you can get a fine touch of white to indicate the highlights of these people. Maybe this guy is not visible at all. I don't know. That's it. So we are done. Now comes that beautiful moment of taking out the tape. You should be very careful since the paper is a little wet. It's not little wet, it is too much wet. So we'll have to be careful when taking out the tape. it might peel off some parts of the paper, so be careful. Thank you very much for watching.